Or no. Hi, everybody.
Hey, that's a commercial on Twitch, but I can't turn it off.
Yep, hold on a second. Let me set some stuff up.
Hi.
Still needs to be set up.
I'm here now.
Would you be prepared?
I was trying to be prepared, but then, since I was logging into the Twitch channel, I get to see a CSGO commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Plant the bomb. Plant the fucking bomb. Well, it's actually a TBS commercial. Apparently they show CSGO on TBS these days.
Really? Interesting.
Whatever it takes to stay ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, sorry.
Yeah, little viewer in your lap there.
What?
It just looks like I'm staring into your crotch.
Yes, look, see. I really just want to chat.
That's the most useful.
Chat over. Hello.
Yo.
Okay, hi, everybody.
There we go.
Sorry about that. So, as you can probably tell from the way the sound was all left up at the beginning there, we got a cool donation from one Terrigan/Polaris.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Of a set of new throat mics that we're going to try out. But before I open them all and set them all up, I thought we should only open one and do a test in case they're terrible.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Shit like that.
Is that better?
Echo.
That ought to be better.
I really hope it is.
Wow, man. Plus, I mean, we could always kill one of the two mics. Put one of these on not directional.
Yeah.
Omnidirectional.
No, it's cool.
Sweet. There we go. Everybody's saying everything's better. Thank you guys.
Okay, so we haven't actually switched the new mic on. So right now we're actually still using the old mics.
Room mic time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. However, I want you guys, I'm going to switch Verde over, and then I'm going to let Verde do a little talking for a second. And I want you guys to tell me how it sounds. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to go quiet for a second.
Voice to audio recognition online. I am Verdi Manzana. How are you guys? I am currently testing out a mic by saying random things. It's getting worse and worse as I go on because I'm not really good at making up things on the top of my head. Oh, how are you this fine? It's not exactly evening yet. It's afternoon. Did you call this evening? It's 7:05 p.m. This is evening. Yeah, my idea of evening right now is being colored by the word konbanwa, which was a greeting in Japanese I hadn't known for a while until recently. And you only use this greeting for the evening time, specifically when the sun is no longer visible. And so you will say konbanwa if you can't see the sun outside and you're meeting up with a friend to go get dinner or something like that at a ramen place. You wouldn't say Ohio. Konbanwa. And then there was another one that I thought was really funny because it's basically, hey, how are you? I was planning on going to bed, but, now I'm talking to you.
A greeting for fuck off, man. I'm on my way to bed.
Well, yeah, except you say hi, which means that you're obviously going to spend some time to talk, but you're informing them also that you were about to go to bed and it's nighttime and, I was going to go to bed.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the other mics.
Yeah.
How does Verde sound now?
How do I sound now? Do I sound louder?
Clearer?
Clearer? Worse?
More echoey?
More echoey? Like cancer? I don't know how cancer sounds. But we'll just go with it. Good descriptive. That's a good.
Is it clean? We literally can't hear it here, in case you're wondering why I'm asking stupid questions.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna come back and revisit the stream to hear how he actually sounds.
And
how we sound.
But echoing is happening. I wonder if I don't know. Because of the type of mic it is?
Yeah, I'm sure the quality of those mics is not as good as we were led to believe, and that's not a commentary on the donation. It's still been awesome.
Absolutely not. The whole reason why we opened one first was to test them out so we could get your money back or do something useful with your money or whatever.
Right. So when I saw the quality of the packaging, I realized that maybe they were misrepresented. Exactly. Ombo and I are right next to Mike Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got a Yeti right
Excuse
here.
me.
Yeti.
If you get that joke, you're a parent.
Or you're young.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Is Verde any louder? Speak again, sir.
I am speaking again. I am speaking more.
We're gonna go to Tiki Beach.
In the tiki room.
That's very different.
Ow.
Well, you said tiki.
Yes. I did.
It's just a different thing, isn't it?
Ah. Well, hello. Usually I'm not presented with things like
It's got a
this.
sick ass little LED display on it. Look at that.
Waste of valuable resources.
Okay, now then, let me change it to. Oh no, it already is coded. I can change it to bidirectional.
Bidirectional.
Or omnidirectional. Let's do omnidirectional.
Yes, 0.
There you go.
Indeed.
Oh, we got more echo going on.
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Very funny.
Not surprising.
Sorry, Claude.
He's gonna get a head clot.
Okay.
Brought to you by Razer.
Yeah, exactly. How do I sound? Do I sound okay? How does Verde sound?
Da-da-da-dum. How do I sound today?
And how does Ombo sound?
What's up, guys? It is I, Ombois.
And we are the DOB crew.
Functionally. With the core.
Yeah. In part.
The taste of core.
Okay, so you know what I think? Paul, I think you should talk to me later and we should return those mics.
Verde is much improved.
And I think we're just gonna fucking do it this way from now on because this way seems to work just fine. So, hi everybody.
Yo!
Welcome to Fireside Chat number 8.
Yeah, a little late.
But here we are.
Yeah, we literally lost power in the room, like our and only in our office too. So if you're ever wondering which room draws the most power in the house,
It's this one.
probably this one.
Or maybe the one right below us.
There's nothing below us. It's concrete.
Yeah.
Shit, no,
You
I
meant
keep
the
thinking
basement.
that the basement's below us. But
And
it's
actually,
not,
now
it's
that you
over
mention
there.
it, the basement has a
Basement
server in it.
has a
so
server
that's
in it,
probably
right.
true. So anyway, the electrician came out, and we got all of that actually fixed today, which is nice.
Indeed.
So there's that. It did, however, put sort of a kink in our progress in that we really didn't get much done yesterday.
It was unfortunate.
We did get some things done. I'm not saying we didn't.
I did manage to pull off, I'm pretty sure,
And in
something
fact,
important.
And in fact, it was actually. It's actually interesting because even though we didn't get anything done yesterday, really, except for the one important thing that did get done, over the course of the last week, a whole hell of a lot of stuff got done.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll walk you through all that as we go. I think maybe the first thing we ought to talk about is what Mr. Ombo was working on.
Yesterday? Yeah, once I realized that I couldn't come in here to do anything, I logged into the Patreon page and basically intensively shopped the text with a lot of the guys, a lot of you, in fact, that are from our Discord channel.
Thank you, by the way.
The inside crew, we just sat and hammered on the text until we had something that I think is ready to stand up. With regard to all of the intro page, the links on the intro page, what we say on the intro page, the reward tiers, all of that stuff. I think all we need to do now is record a "Hi, here's who we are" video, much like this. I'm sure it'll probably roll out a lot like this one does. And thanks very much video for those of you that come through all the way and get the video at the end. And then we'll be able to stand up that Patreon page and go.
In theory, that could happen any day now.
Correct. Yeah.
Maybe
So
that's pretty
I've been
good.
slaving on it. It's hard for me to come up with the words, as I've said before. I think I have the right mix of we are actual professionals despite some appearances. Anyway, so I think that's where that is right now, ready to go. And thank you again to everybody that hangs out in Discord and that helped me shop all that text yesterday.
And then I hear, looking forward to next week, you and Verde are working on a new story.
Oh, indeed,
yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
I yesterday, because I know I basically knew that there was not a lot that I could do. I came up with some outlines, and so I have very basic outlines for very basic short stories that you could look at and go, oh, change that event, like, because I've come up with story ideas before, and Snipe Hunter and you have taken those and then re-pieced them together very quickly, I feel as if that might be some
More
help.
fiction!
Exactly. I feel as if that might be some help in order to get the train started for the fiction that we're writing for that Patreon page.
Right,
Two stories a month.
Yeah, which actually segues into, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been kind of trying to make sure that we put out a story every 2 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this actually segues into the Patreon because it is a patron reward, not only being able to see the stories first, but also at higher levels to have access to them all the time.
Right, so normally what we're thinking we're going to do is on the website, we're going to feature 2 stories a month, and they might be one news story. Oh, off to home, man. See you, man. They may be one news story and one story from our archive that gets featured every month. Right. The people who are founders who have access to the library can read any of them anytime, which means that when a new story is finished, they'll be the first to see it because it won't go into the rotation to be featured until the next month's story time. So they'll have that much time ahead of time to read it.
Exactly.
It gives you that golden ticket.
Exactly. Right. So we're actually kind of already on that schedule with writing stories, and just as we expected, it's taking about the same amount of time as we intended.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign for our ability to schedule the kind of stuff that we want to do with the Patreon. Overall, yeah, we're basically ready to get going.
Yeah. That was my number one goal. If I got anything done this week, was to make that up, turn it on, and start the feed, the drip.
Patreon's basically our
not
little
drip.com, the
little
feed.
orange locomotive.
I think drip.
Not the feed.
I think drip's gone, right?
Yeah, it died.
All right. So that actually another thing that I'm reminded of is just the day before yesterday, the night before yesterday, we started a new campaign.
We did.
Selling cool shirts.
Yep, Teleston themed T-shirts.
So hold on, let me fiddle around over here and let me show you something.
Other cool stuff like that.
Shirts are pretty heavy metal now.
They are. They're very heavy metal. That feature some of the artwork that we commissioned for that other product. That is super heavy metal, and it looks good. We combined some of Cloak's work with that. And came up with a really nice logo, we think, kind of for a first run of T-shirts. It's just another example of the kind of thing that we want to do to keep funds coming in, keep you guys having cool stuff that you can hold on to, and turn the wheels, as it were.
So we have our Teleston metal shirts.
Yeah.
And they're good in a bunch of different colors. I actually like the green, and I'm sort of regretting that I bought a black one right off the bat.
I got a green hoodie.
Yeah. I actually asked him for green, whatever he chooses to get me.
So we started selling them, like I said, about a day and a few hours ago. But we've already sold a third of what we were trying to sell. Mind you, we're not really pushing this as like a huge fundraising effort. They're all pretty damn close to cost.
Well, and what happened is when I was putting together some of the first sorts of goals for the Patreon and thinking about things that we had, assets we could turn readily into stuff we could get to you, and it occurred that as I was pricing some poster stuff for some map stuff, we came across a bunch of art that we knew we had, and we knew that you could do T-shirts fairly readily, and we were like, hey, why not? Why not? I mean, it's not going to be the last campaign, but the first is the first, so let's roll.
Yep.
And we just did it.
And it's there. And you guys are awesome because you've already bought hoodies and T-shirts and stickers.
Absolutely.
So there's a whole series of those Riddick pieces, and actually any of you guys who have happened to see the art base already knows that. And so if you guys have an interest, we might do, every 3 or 4 months, we might dust one of them off and put out another metal shirt, just kind of for tradition's sake.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
There's a ton of other art too, though. So, like, if anybody has any ideas for cool stuff they want, let us know, and we'll try to make it happen.
Right. We're trying to stay away from fulfillment houses that are, I'm not going to name any names, but there are some that are very expensive, to go. So you can get a lot of cool, we can offer a lot of interesting merchandise via those fulfillment places.
But they'd be super expensive.
But they'd be super expensive for you. We would get hardly anything out of it, and it's really not worth either one of our time to do so. So we try to keep, our scope to things that are both decent price point for the other side and reasonable for us.
Yeah, and also, if they don't sell shirts in my size, they can eat fat dicks.
Yes. I was going to get there
Pardon me.
head clock, but I figured that Snipe Hunter maybe has a little more skin in the game with regard to particular sizes.
That's a huge pet peeve of mine.
Massive.
There's no effing way I'm selling merch for my own game that I can't own, so screw that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I bought a double extra large T-shirt from China Direct a couple weeks ago. That really is cool. It's got a kitten walking away from a nuclear explosion, and that's one of my spirit animals. But that thing is, I'm pretty sure they called it double X because it's rayon and it stretches. Because I pull that on, it's like badly fitting Under Armour.
It did totally kind of look like Under Armour, though.
Mm-hmm.
Most posh himself.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. So, let's see. There was a bunch of stuff that got done. Yeah, totally. What's up, Watts? So we worked on the website a lot, like with a ton of help from folks in the audience there. Rose for editing, Watts, Sir, Pole, Kitsuki, all kinds of people who helped with things like, first of all, the amazing artwork. We should probably talk about that, but I'll show that off in a second. But we've got some awesome new artwork, a whole new color scheme. All of the text has been edited. All of the images that we could optimize for load times across the world have been optimized for load times across the world. The site's still super slow, but we can't fix that problem until we can afford to move hosts, because the problem is our host. Like, we've literally, at this point,
done all the
eliminated
optimization
everything local that we can. Most of the load time is spent waiting for the server to give us clock cycles to actually do shit, and that's bullshit. On the other hand, we literally pay $3 a month to serve 5 websites, so...
Yeah. Thank you.
So they've been really good to us. They just, our original plan was their bottom tier, and it stayed that way basically forever. So it's time for us to talk to them about moving up and maybe getting a discount, because we've literally been there for 13 years and stuff like that. That'll happen eventually, but we need a little bit of resources available to us before we can. And so for now, there's about 3 to 7 seconds worth of wait, depending on load on our server, which sucks.
Does.
But that said, let me show off what's there, because it's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is. Really cool. We've gotten comments from people who are not so regular in our group from other pages that they think that our artwork and our stories are pretty cool.
Well, that's what we have to keep doing.
All right, so check it out. Here we are with the main page. You can see the new look.
Oh, it's the hotness!
Awesome backgrounds and the cool logo. And this cool teal and sort of light blue color scheme that's going on here, sort of based off of the key colors in here. Really, really cool. Like, I really like it.
Yeah, it's tasty.
And even the forums have gotten the sort of facelift to match. It's a little different. This theme is not actually the same theme as our website, and so it has fewer options for colorizing, but it's really damn close so that it actually fits really nice.
Nicely.
Nicely. I ought to have said nicely. It is an adverb.
There's a fun thread on there right now, too.
There's a couple of fun threads on there.
The storytelling one is pretty great. They add a line to make a story.
Yeah. I also think that this one here is probably my favorite.
Wow. I didn't know that we were having a tractor race out front.
I think that was a fire truck, too.
Or Yeah.
Anyway, check this out from Mr. Nightfinger.
Oh.
Nice.
That is a
Telestone cards. Excellent, Nightfinger.
There's a few pretty awesome ones in here. If you haven't seen this yet, you should come to the forums and check it out.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent.
Do you know what's really funny about number 2 Cambric Lane?
Mm-hmm.
In the old version of the Meow, that's the house I owned.
Yep.
Oh, yes, it is. It totally is.
So the reason I bought that house was so that I could fuck with people who wandered into it based on the story. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was never going to live there.
Exactly.
I owned it to make it a set.
It's really a lot of what that game was about, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's that. And if you guys want to know who is involved and who deserves the awesome high fives, I already named off a few names, but let me get that out of the way. But I think most important is Mr. Cloaked,
Oh, yeah.
who did basically all of that cool art with the exception of Nightfinger's awesome Telestone cards. And I really just want to say thanks, because that was amazing and timely, and even though I really liked some of the stuff that we had before, it really wasn't at the level that we needed it to be, and we are way closer now than we were before.
Absolutely.
We're still not done. There's still stuff that we need to do.
But let's pass off that big fat thanks to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Because it's hot. It is so sexy. Look at my beautiful page. Ow.
Okay, let me pull chat back up so I can see what you guys have been saying.
Absolutely. Also, that is quite useful.
There was a question: who actually gives us $3 or 5 sites for $3?
Oh, that's I might as well throw them a free ad. That's bluehost.org.
Yep. And we've been using them since like 1999.
Yeah, we've literally been using them for basically as long as there were places that hosted websites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were chosen because they were the cheapest then, and we've been grandfathered into the rate they charged then ever since. So
Yeah, there's a little known website for those enlightened few called dopeass.com.
which was the original that we actually,
We haven't updated that place in a while, and I'm pretty sure the last time I was there, it had been well and thoroughly hacked by ad bots.
Oh.
No.
Well, okay.
No.
Last time you were there, it was for music.
Oh, that page is top secret page.
Yeah, I don't think that page exists anymore in the new version because
Oh.
I swapped it over recently. Remember?
You rolled it. Yeah, maybe I've not been back since. It's possible.
I'm sure you have it. Why would you?
Oh.
It's
I was pulling.
it's a defunct site.
I was pulling tomorrow content.
That's on a different site.
Oh.
That was on SkywardStar.com,
I suppose you're right.
which also got a facelift at the same time.
It did.
It's deliberately a steer though, so like we're not looking for awesome new art or anything there. That's more of a this is who we are. This is what we do for a living. If you need us,
it's literally our
call
company's
us.
pitch site. It's
Right.
not the fun stuff. It's the business side.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Face of the company. One of. We're kind of like Janus.
Three faces.
Right, exactly. We're the manny faces of game development.
The man. Yeah. I don't know if I get to be monster or robot though. I think you're robot.
Yeah,
man.
I want to be robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have 3
That's
faces.
the
Robot,
tattoo parlor next
old
door.
man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, believe it or not, that's Omwa's computer, which is another thing we would fix if we had a few more resources available to us, considering that it's like 6 years old.
It's some
But-
fan or something in there. I don't know.
Yep. I opened a box yesterday and found an old 550 Ti in it and was like, whoa, I wonder if that's better than what Verde had.
Wow.
It's not. He has a 660, so it's about the same. But
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's a shot fan. It's not really a tattoo parlor.
yeah, there's just.
That said, if you're in the neighborhood and you need a tattooist, I know somebody.
Oh yeah,
yeah, somebody good
No,
too.
she's
like,
she's really good. She's also a queen.
Absolutely. Actually, she's
Not a queen
Duchess.
anymore. Now she's a duchess.
the queen is dead. Long
The
live
queen
the
is dead. Long live the queen.
Yeah. Anna the 5th or Anna the 3rd.
It's
Did
Anna
she-
the 3rd.
Yeah, Anna
Did
the
she
3rd
eat the
has
chocolate?
passed.
Is that
Did
what
she eat the chocolate?
I don't know.
I'll have to ask her. I
how
wasn't
Bela
at
the 5th
coronation.
died.
Yeah, I don't know how they died this time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so the last thing that happened this week, rather last Thursday, I on my normal DOP crew stream, I usually play video games on Thursday that are kind of nerdy, right? That are like games where you do programming, games where you solve puzzles, retro throwback, point and click adventure games, right? Strategy games, whatever. The kind of shit I like. But I had so much to do last week that I didn't really want to stream, and I kind of felt that was like lame. So what I thought I would do was instead get some work done and stream it. So I started a little sort of development stream, working on the Divination card reader app as a way to get ahead of our production schedule. And mind you, it's still going to happen pretty slowly, but part of the reason for that is that I'm going to kind of use that stream every Thursday night as a sort of like tutorial on how Unreal works if you've never worked with it before.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it seemed to go over pretty well. You had a good crowd.
Yeah. And so,
you got a huge, you got a huge, like, 13, 15 different people followed you, me, and Ombois and the DOP crew all individually on Twitch, because when I put up that you were doing programming stuff in Twitch Creative, we got a whole different crowd of people.
We did. We had
cool.
A whole different crew.
Yeah, and the room was rocking, and there was cool talk, and there were even some experts there who were giving me advice, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to do that every Thursday, and like I said, we literally started from scratch. So I put the first of those streams on our YouTube page, which automatically gets mirrored to Teleston.com. If you go to the Teleston header in the menu, you'll notice there are two pages. Fireside Chats, which is the playlist that lists all of our Fireside Chats that we've exported to YouTube. And then a new one called Development Streams, which will be these streams that'll happen every Thursday. So the first one's already up. If you missed it, you can go watch it. If you want to help out, come to our Discord channel. And there's a channel we call Vidya that is kind of for talking about interactive apps. Just let me know. We'll give you access, and welcome aboard.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't really know much yet, use these streams to learn, and then try to pitch in wherever you can. I'm going to actually put the project up on on GitHub, so that you guys can work in your own sort of branch of it all on your own and experiment. And then when you have something you think is worth adding, you can just let me know in a pull request, and I'll try to integrate it. And if it integrates without problems, then it'll just become a new feature in the app. So that way, those of you who don't want to wait for the pace that the streams are moving on will be able to just do whatever you guys want to do and just sort of help out. There's also a Trello board where I'm tracking all of the stuff that needs to get done, the stuff that I'm reserving to do on streams, the stuff that's already been done, kind of in lists, just so that I can organize the development, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little kind of deer in the headlights about sort of embarking on it, but we're doing it. So tune in Thursdays. I usually start streaming at 10:30 Mountain. But like I said, the video on demands will always be up on the site, so you don't have to wait up. You can, get them the next day or whenever.
Mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely. I think the bot's dead right now because it was last running on my machine at home because I realized that there was no power here. In the important places for the bot to be running, and Verde was doing his stream, and people were like trying to talk to the bot, so I scrambled over to my computer and stood her up last night. But I was making glass.
I'm gonna fix that.
I made some pretty glass last night and then went to bed.
Yeah, you did. You went to bed pretty early too.
Very early. Yeah. I was dealing with some stuffs and some peoples, some things.
Oh, no.
That said, I made a couple beads last night for this ongoing project I'm working on. It's actually almost done. That are flipping gorgeous. It's like, I remembered how to do this.
Are they the ones that we saw in your beard?
No, that one is also part of that project. That's the focal for that project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spun two last night. I periscoped it. Actually, it's about a 26-minute periscope out there of me doing glass last night. And I did two beads on one mandrel, and God, they came out gorgeous. I'm going to have to post a picture.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna fix
You'd be pretty good at that glass thing.
When I'm in practice, my studio was not very useful for about 6-8 months. I think the last time I did a lot of glass was out at Battlemore last year when I was doing the classes. When I was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was done teaching, I was like, go! Hey, Janes! Nice to see ya.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen you in a
I
while.
haven't seen a Jane Signal in a little bit.
Indeed.
Hello.
Yeah, so time to time I'm out in the studio now making glass again, and I have a project I'm working on. It's actually, that one's almost ready to ship, and then I work on stuff all the time. So
Yeah.
when I do, it's easy enough to parry. Plus, now that I have the
That's not the right bot.
now that I have the Surface, thank you Zero Mega, you're the best.
Oh yeah, we
I'm
should
going
talk
to
about.
experiment with Twitch creative streams from my studio and see if that Surface by itself can Wi-Fi vigorously enough to be my my lab streamer as well. So I could just sit out there, put it up, and hit go, and have an actual full-on Twitch creative instead of a Periscope with a similar desk footprint. Because
Yeah, and probably a slightly better camera.
probably a slightly better camera than this, of course, than this phone
Well,
here.
not
for sure.
necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. This
Yeah.
is a new. What's an S6?
Thank you, James.
But yeah,
Seriously.
Nice.
Big fat
For
thanks
sure.
back to you. Yeah, also because of that, I've been getting ideas to maybe record my father while he's out and about in his armor and fighting people in our recreational practices.
Yeah,
so
that
that
works.
we
Exactly.
can give you some real life fighting content to sort of add to your imaginations and your role playing experiences.
Yeah.
You could see how somebody fights with actual sword and board. You could see how I fence. Just
Right.
interesting stuff
with
for you
commentary,
guys.
which I think is pretty sexy. Like, because if it works the way I'm hoping that it will, the only bottleneck's going to be my my Wi-Fi gate, which when we're out in public is my phone, but anywhere where there's Wi-Fi is just live, right? And so with an actual Twitch stream setup, you can have commentary. You could talk. You could talk over it. You could see what's going on. You could say, "Did you see what happened there?" You could have a chat channel.
Yep.
Like, it's esports at that point, and we would be the hosts.
Speaking of Cloaked has a question.
Huh?
Are you ever worried you'll burn your beard?
No, actually not cloaked. Because for two reasons. One, when I actually started learning, I already had the beard, so I used to tie it up a lot. But if you ever tune in to one of the shows and watch, it's actually kind of hard because the cameras.
Headcloth question soon too.
The camera's on the other side of the flame from me. But so it's kind of hard to see it. Maybe it looks like the fire's going straight up, but it's not. I orient my flame, my torch, away from me at a pretty extreme angle, a little more than 45 outward towards the wall, and I work down here. So I would have to get uncomfortably close to the fire to light my shit on fire. I do put my hair back, of course. And I usually wear a hat, so it's all back.
Yeah, so it's restrained.
I have braided my beard and tied it back, but it's really not very necessary unless I'm really getting into it. And it's a big torch, man. You don't want your face next to that.
Exactly. So Headcloth has a question, and I think it's kind of an interesting one. I'll let you answer it first, though.
Yeah.
He asks, what is the hardest bit of making an MMO? The networking side, art, lore? Does it vary?
Yeah. So for me, of course, it's like networking and code, because that's the stuff that I go, I have to think about this. My knowledge of how to code is limited really to concept, and I know what's possible, and I can script. I visually script. I can use Blueprint. I can do all sorts of scripting, even some pretty complex scripting, which is close to code, but it's not actual code. So if you're like, what does it take to stand up a back end, networking protocol that's going to keep everyone in sync and keep the server authorial, so that you guys can't, all of that stuff. That's where my head starts to hurt. Lore is what I do, and I've as a lot of people that have been hanging out know, I've been doing like AD&D, dungeon mastering, and even video game lore for over a decade at this point. But D&D since I was 7 years old, and I was the first kid on my block to have the basic set with Keep on the Borderlands. So I had all the 7-year-olds sitting around going, "What? Dragons? These dice are strange," But I have a lot of practice in off-the-cuff storytelling, so it's my world. I can write lore pretty quickly. If it's your world, I'm gonna have to think about it for a day or two, but I can probably write lore for you pretty fucking quickly. It's what I do for a living, and so I find lore to be easier. I bet you an experienced coder would say the exact opposite. Like somebody who's way into code would feel differently.
Yeah, I'm going to give an answer that maybe feels a little cop-out, but the answer is what makes MMOs hard is that you have to do the best you can on really all of it.
All of it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So
It's such a large project.
it's not just networking. It's networking with hundreds of connections all working in real time across the world in mixed latency conditions, right? It's not just lore. It's a book series worth of lore that can be experienced from 100 different points of view across 1 million lines of dialogue, over 100,000 pages of written text.
Exactly.
We actually tallied what we wrote for Rift once, and it was like 1 million words. It was insane.
That was pre-ship.
How much? Yeah, and that was back. That was not what we call player-facing text.
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
there was a lot of that was
the
stuff I wrote
building and
for
documentation necessary for the game itself.
things I wrote for people who were just going to build terrain or who were going to build assets.
Right.
I had to write them, X number of pages of description of culture and flavor, so they knew what to make the clothes look like or the weapons look like or whatever.
Yep. And art's the same deal, right? So they have to make it look as good as they possibly can, but they're constrained by things like how well the networking works. So we have to figure out how much time that you can devote to rendering, and there's all these other
Different
things,
puzzles.
and all of them all fit together. And if they don't, if even one of them is effed up, then the game suffers, and you end up with a lot of the failed MMOs that we've seen before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's
So what makes MMOs hard is that MMOs are hard.
they take fairly large teams. They take a lot of cooperation.
They're a massive project.
The largest
Yeah,
challenge
they're
I've
also
seen
top
is
level everything. You know what I mean?
or at least
even-
should be.
Even those MMOs that you look at and you're like, God, I would never
Tons
play
of
that game.
loads or rewritten into more Scooby-Doo sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't even want to.
Not going to go back.
Some of the problems that you have in a first-person one-player game, like some of the problems that Bethesda deals with clipping and me getting stuck in certain areas, you can't have that in an MMO.
Think about how
you just can't.
You will.
You will.
Yeah.
And
Think
I
about
know
how-
because I've tried to test for shit like that.
Exactly.
But you can't have it in an easily what happened last night when I walked in between this airplane and this wooden thing, and I slipped right through, and the crack was literally
What's up,
this big. That can't happen in an MMO.
No, but
if
they do.
things happen like that commonly in an MMO,
you're
fucked
hosed.
up.
You get ridiculed.
You're garbage, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is kind of
Bethesda can do it. 'Cause
now that I've been thinking about it and talking about this, I think the biggest challenge, at least, and this is over multiple MMOs at this point, the biggest challenge is kind of unity of vision and unity of team. Not having, the art lead wants a particular thing very much that is different than what the design team has written.
Level graphics.
Whereas the design team, the hey, what's up? Thanks for that.
Hey, thanks for the host.
Your design team. If you have a conflict between your writers and your not engineers, but your systems designers, who are like your systems designers set up your framework a certain way, and your writers are like, yeah, but I want my guy to have a history where he did this, and this that's not supported in the framework, so I'm just going to write it that way anyway, and then so the game has some dissonance between what players can do versus what the lore writer really wanted to happen.
Yep.
And that can be crap. And then if you mix that with a vainglorious art guy who really wants his flavor in the game, even though the guy that wrote everything before, was yeah, thank you for that as well, was likewise out of sync, it's going to show in the final product. And I mean, you may not notice if you're just banging through and hitting your hot bars, but anybody who invests in your game will eventually note these inconsistencies.
Yeah, they'll hit their threshold eventually, and the dissonance will be too great.
Right.
Right.
I think this is common. So if I think there's one major challenge to MMOs,
It's communication.
It's friendly communication.
It's
It's
persistence
of vision. Right? It's unity between your engineering team, your design team, and your art team, such that they're not running off in different directions, each one trying to come up with a portfolio piece that's going to get them their dream job next time, because this one isn't quite it.
Even professionally wired myself because I know how. Technical theater, man. You gotta wire yourself with those things. Make them all hidden so when you're running off on stage, people don't see wires everywhere.
Oh, One Gun salute. What's up?
Yo.
And One Gun, we're doing more than making tabletop here. We're making tabletop. We're making
That's where it all
digital
starts,
stuff. But it all begins. It is Inception. Inception is tabletop. Brand new system. Whole new lore.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting system too. It's a mix of like streamlined play, but sort of deep simulation. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I think it is pretty deep sim. It's just more about the experience than it
Yeah.
is about the sim. It's
What's
more about the
streamlined
narrative.
is all the points of interaction, not the
Oh,
actual
awesome.
sim itself. You know?
That's good to hear, One Gun.
Oh,
we like
nice One Gun.
we like game design majors.
I hear it's a lucrative field.
Yeah. A few years of my life have told me that maybe it's stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I could write rules for that quickly, James.
I bet that's true, Cloaked. I bet that
fairly
was
quickly.
what happened with Titan.
Yeah. Oh, yep. I
Vision
just see
Titan,
it right there. Yeah. Very much. Yeah, it's a great place to start. I think One Gun, because I think that the roots of all game design are the mechanics that can be modeled that way, right? So, like, you know, the most complex video game is super complex, but could probably all be mapped out, written down, and turned into a combination of dice, spreadsheets, lookups, and a model, and acted out right there without the computer brain doing everything for you. It's just that the computer brain does it all really fast and really efficiently, so we can have games as complex as Civilization, for example.
Yeah.
But hey, Civ was a board game,
Absolutely.
right? Before Sid turned it into what is the
They're
Civ.
not actually related, but
They were very similar.
they had very similar goals and they had the same title.
And if you ever played the old
They're
Civ,
not actually related.
you're right, they're not. But if you ever played the old one, it was
Oh.
super complex. And the computer did it better.
You talk about the Chronicler idea, or are you gonna say
Yeah,
that
I
more
was gonna get there. in a minute. I was gonna make that one of the last things.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, I think we're running out of stuff to talk about.
Well, that's all I was feeling, and I didn't know if we wanted to save that. And now you guys are all interested. Ooh, what's a Chronicler? So are we gonna tell them about that?
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Balance, huh?
Balance is an interesting concept.
What do you
If
think
you
about
were to-
balance?
Oh, you're just gonna ask him? Okay, I was gonna say, whenever somebody on TF2 or a game that I'm playing when I'm on my off time says something like, the demo man's gun or so and so is totally unbalanced, I will rail to them that balance is more about feel and less about anything mathematical.
Balance is a myth. It's the questing beast
Yeah,
of
balance.
Pelennor.
Balance is a thing you strive for but never accomplish.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's my professional view on balance. Is you strive to create a feeling wherein all players feel like they have the
Yeah, I think
agency that character should have in that time and place.
Yep.
And that's it.
And it's interesting because it's a shifting window depending on circumstance, depending on the game.
And over the course of a game too, because as your players develop new techniques, for example, Team Fortress 2,
Ah.
as you develop different play over the length and the long-term game,
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
an onward tweak. It's
Well
an
said.
ongoing tweak.
Yep, and I actually am familiar
Very
with
much.
Smite.
Very much.
That's interesting. I think I would have liked to have seen that presentation myself.
Yeah, that's that you nailed. Yeah,
Yes.
So Smite guy nailed it, and you're totally right, James.
Oh, nerdy joke.
So yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Yep.
So
I guess it's a good segue. Would you like me to handle the bridge?
well, you guys took what I thought was some weird tiny idea that we were already gonna do, and you took that seed and really blew it up.
Well, you took it. That's something.
Yeah. So you guys you keep telling me that I'm the one who seeded this whole thing, but you guys are really the ones who took that, cultivated it, and made it the super big thing. That I was like, whoa, guys, you're taking this way too far. I was just thinking something like trade maps or other bullshit like that. But
It was your seed, so
sure.
this is actually related to what you were talking about with board games being the basis. I think it's a
Yeah.
great segue. Because we're kind of going for this Telestin, we're going for the pen and paper first. We're going to lay the groundwork of the world, give you the way to experience it on a tabletop with your gaming group. We're already kind of doing that. Look, all games are based here. They all come from that root, right? But one thing we did in support of the Meow was write a clock. And the clock can tell you what time it is in Teleston right now.
Yeah, like if you load the lore page on the website right now, it actually, the clock's there at the bottom down on the featured
What
content.
bang is it?
Yep, it's a little orrery.
Yeah.
Because we have a bang command.
Yeah.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
There you go.
Yeah.
In
So
Sky
now-
Pass, it is currently 7:47 p.m. mid-switch on the 27th of Demon in the year 685 New Reckoning during New Spring.
Yep, and if you were like, say, running a tabletop game right now in our world, and you wondered what time it was, you could find out, and you could just use it. But so, what if you could also say, I don't know, let's step back a second. A lot of common practice in RPGs right now, especially pen and paper, are to sell seasons. This season, for example, over at the D&D world, they're talking about Strahd, the vampire. Strahd von
Before they were
Ravenloft.
talking about Ravenloft, just they were introducing the Ravenloft.
So they're going to
season.
move through that stuff for this season, and then next season will be new stuff, etc. Of course, Magic the Gathering does this as well. Pretty sure that's where they got that idea, being who owns D&D
And
right
then
now.
there's always been books like the Dritz books,
they
which
come
were
out, right.
Forgotten Realms, and these different locations and
So
settings.
a lot of times you find people that are really into a particular game are playing in that year's setting, that year's episode.
Yeah. I like Forgotten Realms, so let's
so
go play Netherwinter Nights.
A guy in California and a guy in New York, both playing the newest material, are going to be playing Strahd von Ravenloft right now. And that's just the way it is. And that's kind of cool when you go to a con and you meet and you're like, I like D&D, and the other guy's like, I like D&D, you're both like, Strahd! High five. What if instead, though, you could maybe log into a website, go behind your paywall, your velvet rope, check the map, and see what's going on in the world right now, like who's trading with whom,
As it
what the
unfolds in
state of a
real time.
particular city is. Is it in turmoil or is there a riot? You know, what the main events are any given day in a main city on the fly with a clock as related
Totally
to one central authorial source of what's actually going on in the world with all the movers, the shakers, and the big stuff. And, you know, maybe the gods and maybe the weather and how that affects things. And then when you run your campaign, you will be with your guys at your table having a live feed into the world that you guys are playing in right now. And the guy in California with his crew is doing their stuff in Sky Pass. The guy in New York with his crew is doing his stuff in Anacotha. But when they meet at the con, they can talk about how their crew was influenced by the events of the day in the world at the same time.
Yeah. They both
different
know
places.
that, you know, during that period, Tide's End was under siege by pirates.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have a shared history. And this ties back to our original idea of the Meow being a big shared role-playing world primarily.
A constantly evolving world.
That is constantly evolving, right? Because we can do our seasons right now. And you don't have to buy a new book. You just have to pay the sub on the site. And the site's the living history.
Yep. And those seasons are basically us preparing for the Meow, right? It's all the same work that the writer's room will have to do once we ship the Meow and launch it.
Right.
And so it's a way for us to not only offer, you know, something I don't think any pen and paper game has done so far that I'm aware of.
No, I haven't seen this yet. A
Right.
central, synchronized, digitally held, constantly updated and evolving, essentially boxed set for the players
Right.
of a game.
It's also a way for us to get the Meow's tech done ahead of time so that when it comes time to actually work on the Meow, a lot of the
back end, the
back end
scheduling,
will
the-
exist.
right.
With a bit
The
of the
VDM
infrastructure
stuff.
even already. Right?
Correct. And so this is a stepping stone on our path that we discovered yesterday after some talk.
And I think the development of this Teleston Chronicle web app goes hand in hand with development of the tablet app and the pen and paper game, so that all three of them together are sort of one ecosystem. Right?
They're all
And
drawing on the same data
speak,
source.
Yeah.
But right, so like if you have access to the Chronicle, it's right there in your DM's app, so you can be like, what's Tide's End like right now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Tide's End currently has
Again, keeping with our idea that we can
crashing
play
silk market because
anywhere.
Baylor just dropped in all of their silk.
Exactly.
Wood is expensive because it's the end of the fucking logging system. Logging season. Oh, I have a woodsman from Fall Creek here. He could address that issue in the group, and then you can make it part of the story instead of the whole. What's your character's background? Give me 10 seconds of your character's background. I'm gonna craft a story from what I know here, and
You can even
bam.
do that.
Oh, you
Yeah,
totally
there's
could.
nothing
But
stop
it's
you.
influenced. But it's influenced by a shared.
Well, yeah. So imagine
Synchronized
you've taken time to
timeline.
set up, a massive campaign for your audience, but because of the collaborative nature of the game, they decide partway through, oh yeah, Fall Creek. Don't they have like a festival or something? Let's go check that out. Right?
Yeah, you can see whether it's on, when it's on, what's actually happening, or whether or not there's a bear on the road.
How it works, the stats of the people that are there, the agendas of the political groups that are working in that area, all of that, right? If there are cultists on the move, you might be able to...
Thanks, Roland. Rolling with dank. That's what we do during our off business.
Colorado is a grand place to live.
Indeed. But yeah, so like all this stuff would be accessible to you so that less work preparing a set of railroads is necessary for a full-fleshed adventure. And in fact, you might end up with something better as a result, right?
Right. Well, and the clockwork is already there and tested.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
background.
And this arrow of time is always moving, so it's always fresh. You don't have to worry about it going stale.
Right. Well, yes, and so consider, if anyone's an old schooler, someone old like me, you might remember that in the olden days of only D&D, there were 2 magazines you could purchase a subscription to, and they were sort of expensive subs, but for the time. But one, Dragon, guaranteed that you would always get the state of what's going on in D&D, kind of the latest con news, and some monsters,
character classes,
and some fiction.
Yeah.
I would be a winged elf. Look right here in Dragon Magazine.
It was
I
always
could be a
mechanics.
winged elf.
New classes, new monsters.
Yeah.
And then the
We've
other
actually-
magazine was
We've actually done
Dungeon.
design work that made it into Dragon Magazine.
We have done design work. So
Back here, over where it says "Thank you for believing," there's a little plaque back there, and you can't see it, but it says Nightcaster. Nightcaster was an Xbox game that we worked on back at 2001, 2000. Yeah.
twin stick
Yeah.
shooter with
Not-
dynamic
yeah.
lights. It was real pretty.
Not Xbox 360, literally Xbox, and it was a launch title of that. But
I voiced quite a few of the
By
creatures
the way,
of the
cover art of
monsters
this
in
is
that.
great.
one of the coolest things
In that
about
game?
that game is that we did all of this work to design 16 spells for the game. And one of the people that was working on the project was a noted pen and paper contributor. I'll leave his name out of it because he didn't really work on the game with us. But between him and a dude named Richard Rowan, who was working at Microsoft, they both knew everybody at TSR.
Yeah.
Everybody. Right? So they started talking to them, and they said, hey, why don't we do an article where we turn all of these spells into D&D spells? And so our contribution to Dragon Magazine is the 16 spells that we made in Nightcaster.
Yep, turned into AD&D spells. That was pretty great. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And there was a twin stick shooter, had some dynamic lights,
Shmup.
and I voiced a bunch of the monsters.
Yep. Yeah, the second one is way more shmup-like.
Second one is actually way more shmuppy.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was our chronicle idea. The other book magazine that you could get other than Dragon was Dungeon.
Yep.
And Dungeon was always adventures. At least one. So if you had a
Yeah,
weekly
mini
brew,
modules, kind of, yeah.
you would have content to play with. We kind of think that our web service can be something like a dungeon magazine for the Teleston pen and paper game, but ongoing, so that you always can just open it up and have the adventure ready if
Constantly
you
fresh
can't.
and new.
Yeah, and you can of course embroider and do your own cool stuff.
Well,
but
and
it's
the
a
archives
living-
of everything that happened would be there for your review too. So if you
Correct.
wanted to do a not real-time version, there's no reason why you couldn't. You could go in the past or whatever.
Cloudy Mountain.
Oh, I love that.
I
game.
can still hear
Yep.
in my dreams. And it didn't even have a name when I got it. It wasn't even called Cloudy Mountain. That's just what you have to search if you want to figure it out. It was just TSR's AD&D.
Yep.
The one I really liked, though, was Treasure of Tarman.
It's a little bit rarer too, though.
I had them both.
Yep, they're great games.
Yeah, I was right. Yep, exactly. Right about 7, James.
They were the games that made me envious of my television owning friends, despite my 2600 with all the games I could.
They were the only AD&D branded games you could get. Period. For anything,
exactly.
You can even get AD&D games on the damn Coleco.
Exactly.
Hell no. I'm Magic. I love that Magic. Anything. It was probably my first company fandom. The way that people are Blizzard fans now.
Yeah.
I was an iMagic fan.
For me, it was Activision, but I totally understand.
Yeah, it was the special cartridges because they were black and skinny and had the chrome labels on them with the rainbow.
Yep.
Oh, iMagic.
You guys are about the same age. He's 41.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I am.
Just 20 years older than me.
All right, well,
It gives you an idea of how over the head you kind of went over.
We're
right
hitting
there,
the
how
hour
the
mark where we
television is.
usually call it.
Yeah, I think
And
we
we
hit
played
all
that.
the main awesomes of the week.
I've played emulators.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there was lots of other little stuff that went on. We made a lot of progress on figuring out what our new attributes are for the pen and paper. We streamlined them a little bit. So a few things to work out before I can call that segment done and actually begin writing in the player's guide. But
Yeah.
we did do that.
Yeah. That's always a lively Discord channel too. The pen and paper usually.
Yeah, we got some pretty
usually
good
full of
crafters out there.
right
Or
serious
forgers,
theorists.
if you prefer.
Oh, I heard rumblings from the Theory Forge crew. That
I know. Actually, I hope that's
true.
true. There might be a Teleston related weekly stream happening.
If there's one like that, you can bet we will stop by from time to time and give them our.
Absolutely.
Oh hell
Our
yeah!
good words.
I'll be in the chat room if nothing else.
If you guys aren't in the Discord, remember to get into that before the Patreon launches.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
let me throw some links up again.
Oh yeah,
The Discord
that's
page.
true. Discord's
to
gonna
sort
get
of
velvet
entice you.
roped.
It will, but sort of to entice you, for you history nerds and buffs or you sword buffs out there, just today in the Teleston Discord general chat, we were having a very lively discussion on different sword guards
that
and
was
late
cool.
and early history.
That's cool.
We I posted a great resource for those who like historic swords that just basically talk about how you could be the most pedantic motherfucker about the longsword in general. For those who don't know, there are the style 5-1A sword, which has a slightly more tapered tip than this sword right here and is more rigid because it was made for stabbing through plate armor and other shit.
Mail breaking.
There's a lot of nerdy shit that goes on there. You should come in before you have to pay to.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Also, if you have anything that you want to contribute, if you have ideas, or even if you just want to get involved in the discussion, you should come join the Discord.
Also a great place to do that.
A lot of that will probably end up behind a velvet rope if the Patreon is successful. So,
Correct.
as Verde was saying, now is the time.
No, those never got shared, and the reason why those never got shared is because I suck at art and Photoshop, and I didn't want to post up pictures of something hand-drawn, and I wanted to put up something a little bit more professional, but I still have the notes. They're literally right over there. I have a different accent for each of the 5 cultures that we know of right now, with very specific designs and things incorporated into them that I took from stories and other things like that.
Yep. Really quick, I should do our weekly plug of the folks who host this here conversation, the
Yeah.
DOP crew. I hear they're really good people.
Yeah, the DOP
The
crew is
DOP
pretty
crew?
cool.
The
Yeah,
DOP
they're
crew,
awesome.
yeah. So, we're the DOP crew. There are others of us. But
This
every
is
week,
not the dope hat.
every day of every week, there's somebody on this channel, usually late at night. We like to stream late at night.
Like
Playing games, or, like I said on Thursday, I'm going to start doing game dev streams. I actually started already, but
Yep. So you'll be doing the codes.
yep, somebody here every week. So the reason that there isn't a Teleston-specific channel is because, we like hanging out with you all, period. And so we kind of want you to hang out with us even when we're not wearing our Skyward hats. Not that I wear a hat.
I'm sure I'm much more fun. There is no stuff Chris Holtorf says Twitter. Because usually what I say is, fuck WoW, why'd they do it that way? And a few other nasty things maybe I shouldn't say.
Riff, don't even get me
Don't
started.
get me
about
started
that.
on that comment. The industry taught me to drink, but I won't do it here. I'll do it on camera at midnight tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun, man. You should definitely come out. And you know, we have Twitters and YouTubes and
Schedules.
here's our schedule. And it's fun. So you know, if you don't wanna hang out on the development Discord because you're worried that you don't have anything to offer, then at least come hang out with us and have fun.
Yeah, come party. Often on Saturday nights, we'll even play games that allow other people to play with us, and we'll invite as many of you as we can cram into the channel. That's how we like to roll.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Jackbox games.
Those games are fun, especially when everybody's
Yeah,
like
they are.
voting and stuff's going on. And
Stumbling up their stairs.
Yep.
Passing out on the couch.
You know how it is.
It's a party.
It totally is.
All right, so I think unless you guys have questions, I think that's it.
And
Sure.
before we leave, Siren, you might have maybe convinced me to ask Father to take a picture of those axe heads and throw them up in the Teleston General.
Sure, we can
but
do some stuff
I am
with some things.
not publishing hand-drawn pictures that have not at least been run through Photoshop or by somebody who I believe is more professional at art than me, because I don't want to blemish the face of Teleston with unprofessional crap.
We're shooting for this week, Paul. We're shooting. We're trying. We're trying so
Yep.
hard.
Probably this weekend, I think.
Yeah, we have 2 videos to shoot. One where we go, "Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Omba, and I'd really like you to give me my money so I can continue to make art, and then I'll share the art with you."
And the 2 times that we already scheduled to shoot these videos, something broke. In one case, my entire fucking office.
Yeah,
So, we're working on it.
that was supposed to be yesterday, which is why I made sure that all of the text was good yesterday. Was because yesterday we were supposed to do the last videos and stand it up, and so with the disastrous studio shutdown that happened, I sat at home, and as you know, because I tapped your brain repeatedly,
It was some game dev story bullshit.
It's serious.
we ground the hell out of the text. So the text is all ready. All that is left are the videos: a thank you video and a pitch video.
Yep. And then we're good to go.
And then we'll light a little fire,
Absolutely.
Yep.
a little candle.
Also, if you haven't bought a T-shirt
That
or
locomotive will
a
be
sticker
pumping.
or a hoodie or maybe a T-shirt, a sticker,
And a hoodie?
Think of your children or your cousins or your little nieces that
Exactly.
really
Think
need
of all of the people.
some heavy metal
Who
Teleston
use-
Also,
stuff.
just send it over to people who like heavy metal art, because I did that to my personal friends and they were like, "Dude, that's some fucking heavy metal shit you got there. I'm buying that shirt." People who aren't even interested in role playing, I know
pretty
have
sexy.
purchased our
Yeah.
shirt because it looks heavy metal.
Because it's awesome, so you should definitely get people to buy more.
Shamelessly advertising.
Ah, Polaris. I know what you mean. I see what you said there. I get it. It's funny, the video game way of saying that, so you can get it by a larger audience, as you say. I know that I'm going the right way when I encounter enemies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they do sell larger size shirts because,
yeah.
as Snipey said,
Up to 5X.
yeah, as
Fuck.
Snipey said previously,
Wow.
he boycotts all shirts.
I should have bought a
companies who don't
5X.
sell
That come down to
shirts
my
in his
knees.
size.
Yeah,
We just belt it.
You can wear it as a tunic for the SCA.
For my SCA stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's my nightgown.
Adorns your tavern.
The demon Teleston.
Fear me. They're just crows, sir. Crow skulls.
Yeah, there's a couple of like I said, there's like 5 total in that series, so there's a couple of those.
Sweet, that's what we were kind of going for.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just keep your eyes on the many channels of information. Stay in our chats. Come hang out. Bring your friends to come hang out. Pretty soon they'll be ready to go up. But we love to have you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And we will be back next week at our normal time, Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. Mountain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For this fireside chat on
Yep.
Teleston.
So thanks everybody. We will see you then.
Be well.
Or we'll see you before then when
If
we
you
go
come
PvP.
game with us. Yeah. Bye everybody.
Peace.